The following episode of They're Not Sending Their Best contains quotes from Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson. These quotes range from the antisemitic, the homophobic, and the outright racist, not to mention references to a certain German dictator from the 1930s and 40s. We normally would not want to say this, but this episode is extra upsetting, so listener discretion is advised.
They're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
Hello and welcome to They're Not Sending Your Best. I am one of your hosts, Tim Philippi, and with me, as always, is Andrew Turner. Andrew, do you wish that women couldn't vote? Right? I prefer they vote, but what do you feel?
I'm a misandrist, so I think that only women should be able to vote.
Oh, I didn't know there was a word for that. You know what? I am now that too. Love that.
Yeah, I look at men as objects merely to be used, including myself. I believe if we had more of like a feminine warrior, like matriarchy society, I would be happier because
like woman warrior.
I want mommy uppies. Yeah. And I'm happy to stay home and cook and clean it, which is a hard ass job, but it's way more in line with my ADHD than any job that's 9 to 5. That's why I do this. I mean, like I hate men. Is my point.
We've not been great. And apparently there is a North Carolina lieutenant governor, the person that the state of North Carolina, or at least part of you, had elected to the lieutenant governor's seat, and who's now running for governor and could become your governor. Will he? Probably not. Unless you guys are as crazy as he is. What? Say it again.
I still want to give us some buffer on time, audience, when we start talking about quoting the truly vile and despicable things this man has said.
Let's get a little while in. This
it's
man,
a wowzer.
His name is Mark Robinson, right? He is. I'm trying to get us into the YouTube point where they won't go, okay, they're talking about fascism or something. Oops. Well, whatever.
We're a minute and a half.
Yeah, I think we're okay. But it's because like this man has said some bad stuff and like shockingly bad. I believe you have written here so bad that it would make Trump blush, but not really because he called the man MLK on steroids. So I think Trump really digs this fella.
Maybe Trump blush isn't the right term. You probably couldn't see it through the foundation anyway. But I mean,
no, you could not.
He would make Trump go like.
Just saw a picture of him. It was truly shocked how orange he is. Like it was a very high definition picture. I was like, whoa.
He's going Super Saiyan 2. You don't realize like every time you go up a level, whether it's like using your Kai powers or like
Saiyan 2, rest in peace, dude.
Yeah, or like you unlock Super Saiyan godhood, or like you unlocked like natural instinct, I every time that happens, there's like a physical like upgrade to you that demonstrates your new power level. Yeah, so he grows more orange and his hair grows bigger when he upgrades.
Yeah, more straw-like.
He leans more backwards with his belly out as he does it. I shouldn't body shame.
No.
I shouldn't body shame. He's a horrible person.
He's a horrible person. Body shaming aside, his makeup's weird, and he wears a lot of orange foundation.
Isn't body shaming. You still shouldn't shame people for their makeup decisions, but it really does show his insecurity. Like because he should just tan. He should just go get a tan.
Yeah,
like you can tan. You're rich. Like.
He is ginger and Irish, though, so I don't know if he can. It doesn't matter. Again, trying to get far enough.
Fake tan.
Yeah, fake tan. Yeah, which I thought that's kind of what it is. Oh, Lord. Okay, I think we're far enough into
makeup.
This to
it's
say...
a fake tan. Yeah, that's what he's trying to emulate. It's like the Jersey Shore. He's like the richest person from Jersey Shore. That's what he's trying to be, as he always has been. Like, he's Biff Tannen, but from Jersey Shore. Mm-hmm. Like they just made Biff Tannen a California version.
I believe the writer.
Literally. By the way,
if we
ever do that pop culture politics episode, multiple 80s villains are directly based on Donald Trump.
Specifically Biff Tannen.
Biff Tannen and King Koopa both were inspired by Donald Trump.
And that terrible, which, okay, I know we'll get to Mark Robinson in a second. Again, he's quoting a certain villain from the 40s. That's why we're trying to get far enough.
A man with a particular facial hairstyle.
Yeah, a particular right on the middle of the lip. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Koopa. No, go back and watch that terrible Mario Brothers movie where you find out it's Mario, and Luigi Mario. But It's,
canon.
if you
That is
view it
canon.
under a anti-capitalist lens, it's actually somewhat of a better movie. It's still not a good movie, but it's listen to the
It's
how
a
did this
good
get made
bad
of it
movie.
afterwards,
It's-
or
it's
watch the
not-
riff
it's
tracks
not like-
version. But
It's a good bad movie. It's
It's a
not
good
like
bad
Madam
movie.
Web,
Yes, that's-
where you're
yeah.
like bored.
Mm-mm.
Like watching Super Mario Brothers is fun. Like if you have a few IPAs,
Sure.
you smoke a little bit of whatever you can smoke legally in your state, and you watch Super Mario Brothers from the 1990s. Like I think it's like 92.
yeah, I think 89, 92, something like that. Yeah.
It is fun to watch,
Mhm.
especially if you're like played games and like
And
grew up playing Mario.
Objectively,
like, it's fun,
better than
but
the
it's
new
a
one.
bad movie.
It's better than the new one. I would say it's. I didn't care for the
I
new one
haven't
that
seen the
much.
new one.
It's fine.
I refuse.
It's
I
fine.
boycott Chris Pratt.
Dude. Okay, dude can't even do Mario right. It's no.
My
I'll
only
get
exception
yeah.
because I am a Marvel nerd. Basic
Wahoo!
politics Andy bitch is I do watch
Yeah.
Guardians, but
His Wahoo is like
Otherwise,
Wahoo, Wahoo. Like, dude, get it right. Like, it's very easy. It's
not hard.
Wahoo.
I can
Done.
do a Mario.
Everyone can do it. Everyone can do a Mario. God,
Woohoo!
yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah. There you go.
It's not
Like,
hard.
thanks, Nintendo. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out, Nintendo. Come on. Stop it. The cease and desist orders are just being shoved under my door right now. Like, all right, we're far enough.
Yeah,
in.
no,
This
literally a SWAT
motherfucker,
team.
Mark,
Just a Tokyo SWAT team descends into
Tokyo
your,
SWAT
your
team, yeah.
house right now.
get on the ground, get on the ground. You quoted Mario. I thought it was
Yeah,
quoting
Pikachu
Wario.
in full Pikachu in full BDUs busts in and just starts tasing you with his own
Pokemon
electricity.
trainers are just throwing Blastoises outside my house.
Yeah.
Come out with your hands up, or the Blastoise will kill you. Okay, Mark Robinson quotes Hitler like a lot. Like, Mark Robinson is quoting Hitler and says women shouldn't be able to vote. That's where we're at right now.
You're gonna
All
have
right.
to beep out. We have to say mustache man. Or I mean, I guess it'll be fine on
For-
YouTube. But,
do I have to really
TikToks, we
bleep
gotta-
out his name? Really? Oh no,
Yeah, they'll
for
immediately.
Oh, for TikTok, yeah, no, I bleep that out. It doesn't matter. But
yeah,
and-
they'll immediately ban us, which I get. That's fine.
Sure. But like, Mark Robinson quotes Mustache Man for the
Yeah.
purposes of
Evil
social
Mustache
media.
Man. Yeah.
Evil Mustache Man gets quoted by a black lieutenant governor from North Carolina who doesn't think women should vote and wants to take us back to the 1950s when people like him, as well as many other people, couldn't vote and was questioned about it. And we're going to get into it. But Jesus
Yeah,
Christ, this is the man that the
It's-
Republicans put up.
I guess what this is all kind of badly us. Who would have guessed Tim and Andrew are rambling? But this is badly kind of giving you a trigger warning because, like, unlike a lot of episodes where like we get to make jokes, and unlike episodes that are like about mass shootings or
Yeah.
the one we're gonna do on Israel Palestine eventually, like, this is not an episode that is like super sad and tragic where we have to be
No.
serious the whole time. But nor is it a regular episode where we can just like say some of this stuff and be open and be flippant.
Yeah.
Because some of it is trigger warning,
Bad.
extremely homophobic and racist,
Yeah.
like blatantly, not like, oh, policy dog whistle, like
Yeah.
open fascistic
Yeah.
rhetoric. And I do want to kind of give us some preface on this before we dive into his quotes. A lot of this episode is just going to be his quotes,
Yeah.
but let's talk about who he is and how he got to where he's at now before we talk about what type of person he is.
Yeah.
He is currently the lieutenant governor of North Carolina. He had defeated the nominee Yanivet Lewis Hawley in the 2020 lieutenant governor election, and is now running for the actual governor spot, the next spot up from kind of vice governor, which is what most lieutenant governors are in most states. He's a far right Republican who gained prominence for his extremist views and support for gun rights, as well as hate for queer Americans. Those are his main issues and what he regularly spouts. He's a conspiracy theorist, as we said. He is anti-science in both with the IFVs thing and then also with climate change, is an advocate for climate change denial entirely. And finally, he likes to defund the public school system and instead make people use private school systems through charter schools. So just overall, just the most right-wing type Republican that you can be.
It's the most run-of-the-mill.
His tenure in office, yeah, it's been marked by his truly insane statements because all those policies that I just listed,
That's
could-
Texas in a nutshell, but you just described
yeah,
to
it
me.
could come
like-
from a lot of Republicans
Greg
that aren't
Abbott.
as open
Mhm.
about why he's doing these things. But with that being said, we're going to pull a bunch of quotes that The Advocate, the website The Advocate, gathered And we're going to actually have those in the videos pulled up so you can read along with it, and it'll be sourced with their information there as well. But we're going to go off each of us and read a quote, a section of what he said. And we're doing this because I don't want to take psychic damage from reading all of this. So I'm making Tim take out. That being said, I will go first.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some of his highlights, some of the greatest hits of what he said. The first one is, once a woman is pregnant, it's not her body anymore. Despite later confessing that he and his wife had an abortion early in their relationship, Robinson said in 2021 that once a woman was pregnant, it's not her body anymore, quote unquote. He also disagreed with exceptions for rape and incest and abortion bans, implying that victims of assault deserved what happened to them under the Charles Darwin survival of the fittest and evolutionary.
Why are you quoting
theory.
Charles Darwin? What the fuck? You don't even believe in any of that. Oh
because women are less violent and on average physically smaller than men and easily taken advantage of by large, horrible men with no morals.
Sure.
That's their fault because survival of the fittest. It doesn't really logically make sense,
No,
but yeah.
I'm trying.
It's might is right.
I'm sorry.
It's fascist.
I was trying to make logic of this man, and that's my fault.
No, it's just fascism. It's like, oh, if you can't defend yourself, you deserve what you get.
Yeah.
It's blaming the victim. It's
Sure.
might is right.
Yeah.
Here's
his quote.
He said, this is his quote. Yeah. You know what that argument reminds me of? It reminds me of the argument about seatbelts, he told the East Carolinian. I can always remember that there would be one person who would say, what if I get stuck on the railroad tracks and my seatbelt won't come off? Number one, if you were stuck on the train tracks, that's Darwin. That's not any of my concern. That is Darwin. I cannot help you.
You are
okay.
a
So first
creationist. What in the fuck?
First off, he is making a very ham-fisted metaphor there, relating a woman's right to choose to somehow getting stuck on railroad tracks. And then he is saying that both those people deserve what they get.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that everyone who's ever been hit by a train was at fault.
No.
Like,
yeah.
Like cars get stuck on things that are in the road. Like
Oh my
sometimes
God.
those crossings don't work
Yeah.
right. What if someone fell asleep because they have, like a medical condition?
God.
What if they had a heart attack before and they survived the heart attack, but now they're trying to recover in their car? Like,
Andrew, you don't need to
but also-
justify train victims because this man's a bastard.
Yes. But that's the insanity. Is first off, not only is that a horrible metaphor, but what are you talking about? That has nothing to do with Darwinism. Darwin didn't go, well, if you get stuck on train tracks and get an abortion, you deserve what you get. You don't understand the theory of
Solid
evolution.
Darwin impression.
Yeah, that's exactly how it sounded. My name's Charles
Darwin.
I'm Charles Darwin.
I watched monkeys
yeah,
for the better
that's,
part of my life.
If you are a woman who feels like at least rape and incest should be an exception to an abortion ban, let alone if you feel like, it's your body, your choice, and really it's none of the government's business, and it's big government coming into your bedroom and into your womb, literally, and telling you what to do with your own body. If you felt either of those ways, any range of that spectrum, not a great candidate to vote for.
No.
But that's what he said about a woman's ownership of her own body when she's pregnant.
Yeah. So
what's up next, Tim?
About what he said, how transgendered women should go to the restroom. He said, God damn. Robinson said earlier this month during a campaign speech that transgendered women should be arrested for using women's bathrooms, adding at another event they should find instead find a corner outside somewhere. If you are confused, find a corner outside somewhere to go. We're not tearing society down because of this. Jesus,
I feel like it's
goddamn
more
Christ.
detrimental to society for people to be taking shits and pisses out on a corner.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll just go ahead and read this next one because it's basically in line with the same quote. Transgenderism is homosexuality and any of that filth is what his quote was. During a sermon, he said that there's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling a child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. And yes, I called it filth. He doubled down. And if you don't like that, I called it filth. Come see me and I'll explain it to you. He won't be bullied into submission is more or less is what it says after that. But like, Jesus Christ, you can see it on the screen. Like, wow. Like, I mean, I've heard some, like, obviously I've heard hate speech before, but like from a fucking Like, I haven't even heard that from Ron DeSantis. You know what I mean? Like that's like, I haven't heard that from Donald Trump.
This shit is Klan shit.
This is Klan shit. And it's coming from a black guy. Like, and I'm not saying black people can't hate transgender people and homosexuals, but like, he also, just the amount of hate on women and just, I don't know.
He's not in the club, even if he doesn't realize it, right?
Dude,
I think
thank you.
That's
it's like,
it's like drag Republicans, like Lady MAGA or whatever her name is. It's like log cabin Republicans. Like I tell them, like, yeah, I understand that you want lower taxes and you like a big military and like,
dude, I get the argument.
Hate poor people, but in the end, those people that you're allying with are going to put a bullet in you.
Yeah,
like if they get every policy
like,
they want, because they're fascists. but there's always been this. There were Jewish collaborators with the Nazis.
Sure, yeah, I know. There's collaborators everywhere.
There's always been collaborators because they think it'll mean that they'll be the special ones. They'll be the chosen ones.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a less extreme version of that, right? Like, I don't want to make a metaphor and go straight. It's hard not to make a metaphor to Nazism and fascism
when he's quoting
literally
like
quoting. Yeah, we'll get
when
to
he's
that. We'll
literally going to quote mustache fellow Addie. I guess I don't know if that we can call him that. I have a friend by that name. She would not like that. Using her name to describe mustache man. So what do we got next?
Old one ball.
Oh God, I guess he's really quoting this conspiracy theory. I'll just go with this one too, since I already did the other one.
The same.
Michelle Obama is secretly a transgender woman. This is the dumbest conspiracy theory I've ever heard. I know. Robinson accused former First Lady Michelle Obama of secretly being a transgender woman, referring to her as he in 2017 Facebook post where he called her an anti-American, abortion and gay marriage supporting leftist, a liberal leftist elitist. I'll be glad when
leftist elitist.
Yeah. I'll be glad when he takes his boyfriend and leaves the White House. And he had wrote other posts about Obama speaking. Robinson said in other posts that Obama speaks ghetto and Wookiee. Oh God, leave Star Wars out of your mouth. And that she emanates the stench of human waste. Wow. Okay, man, we weren't joking, and I didn't read these beforehand, audience. I just kind of skimmed through the titles at the top. So goddamn, I'm speechless.
I don't do this alone.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get the homophobia hate, the hate for LGBTQ and plus and queer Americans, through really just all of them, anyone different. But yeah, the vitriol here is pretty bad. This happened a few months after he referred to homosexuality as filth. Robinson said in November that that straight couples are superior to same-sex couples because they can potentially reproduce sexually. Now, first off, that's not true of every straight couple by any means. There's quite a few straight couples that would love to have children that never get to, that have to adopt or never get a chance to have a kid. So being straight does not qualify you as being able to have children. Just a fucking fact.
Yeah.
But second off, it certainly doesn't make you superior to another couple's love because you can reproduce.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. No matter if you're gay or straight, it's ridiculous. And then he said, he then equated the LGBTQ plus people with what cows leave behind, as well as maggots and flies. He then said, quote, I don't care how much you cut yourself up, drug yourself up, and dress yourself up. You're still either one of two things. You're either a man or a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. All right.
Now I want you to read this one because you're going to get mad about this one. I mean, we were already,
the Black Panther
more disgusted than angry, I guess. But yeah, this one, you're going to have fun with this one.
Yeah.
My old nerdy friend.
So, man, I just got to say outright, like, of all, like, I am speechless on this. I shouldn't be, but at the same time, like it's, you don't hear this from officials. You hear this out of MAGA chuds. You hear this out of racist homophobes. Yeah. Like I'm used to that. I'm used to seeing.
They usually don't elect people who don't.
This is an elected official that's just outright saying all this. Here's the next one. Black Panther was made by an agnostic Jew and satanic Marxist. Robinson wasn't a fan of Marvel's Black Panther when it first came out in 2018. He accused the movie of trying to make black audiences more favorable to Jewish people in a Facebook post at the time while using a Yiddish racial slur for black people. Oh yeah, I saw that the other day too. It is absolutely amazing to me that people who know so little about their true history and refuse to acknowledge the pure sorry state of their current condition can get so excited about a fictional quote-unquote hero created by an agnostic Jew, Stan Lee, and put to film by satanic Marxists. How can this trash that was only created to pull the shekels out of your slur pockets invoke any pride, he wrote. Jesus.
This motherfucker saying shekels. He's pulling racism out from like God the pro leagues. Like this is the old shit. This is the shit your grandpa said in Vietnam.
Racism. Jesus Lord, my God.
He said shekels in his anti-Semitism.
Oh man, like
Jesus.
Like that's
fucking mustache man shit. That is shit that was written in I'm Kumpf. The book sounds like
I'm cooped. Yeah, Jesus Lord. Yeah.
That was in My Struggle, translated to German.
Sure, yeah.
It was in that book.
Man. That's like I heard the satanic Marxist thing before, or so I heard that weird conspiracy theory. Like I hadn't heard some of these conspiracy theories in a long time, like the Michelle Obama thing, and then this Black Panther thing.
They did the transvestigation and like complete destroyed of Michelle Obama's like character and feminism and accomplishments.
I remember even hearing that
it was so disgusting.
What's her name? She's passed now. Some comedian,
transphobic. But yeah, sorry. That's also what was bad about it.
Yeah. Joan Rivers had touted the same conspiracy theory as well, which was, and then she died, and people tried to say the Obamas like killed her for it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, people will find anything. Like, it's not that Joan Rivers wasn't 90 years old and had like a million different
that was why
plastic surgery procedures. Like, God damn. Okay, whatever. Next,
I'm gonna do these next two because they kind of like fit in line with the same thing, and you did 3 in a row.
Sure.
I'll tackle the just lurid anti-Semitism, I guess.
Good grief.
Jewish bankers are the horsemen of the apocalypse is the next quote that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Shortly after calling reports of the Holocaust hogwash, literal Holocaust denialism, everyone, Robinson went on the podcast of an alleged cult leader in 2019 and endorsed the host's remarks that Jewish bankers are one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. The other 3, Muslim people, China, and the CIA.
Okay.
That's exactly right.
Does he know
Robinson
how the horsemen work?
response.
Because, like, oh my God, okay.
It's amazing to me that we live in this age of information where you can go online and you can find all this information and it's not hidden from anybody.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you're on 4chan and Reddit, buddy.
4chan. All these facts are out there. They're on these like really poorly designed websites that just kind of look like where the comment goes over here and then over here and then over here and then it's really small. My God.
My friend Bong Hit 69 dildo fuck XX3 proved it through a Discord post I found.
Yeah. Oh my God. And then he released a whole bunch of classified documents and then was arrested. Air Force guy. I don't remember what his name was and what specifically happened
Deep
there.
Cut joke.
Deep cut.
Deep cut news joke. We didn't even cover that. In March 2023, more of Robinson's posts and social media statements emerged, including Facebook posts appearing to call the figure of 6 million Jews perishing in the Holocaust into question. For example, Robinson wrote, "This foolishness about Mustache Man disarming millions of Jews and then marching them to C camps is a bunch of hogwash." So yeah, that's Holocaust denialism. That's what that is. And there is a reason the liberal media fills the airways with programs about the Nazi and the 6 million in quotes, Jews they murdered. Both Democrats and Republicans criticized Robinson's statements.
Absolute shit. Wow.
Yeah, it's denying the Holocaust. Yeah.
God damn.
And then suggesting that Jews are controlling the media to hype up said Holocaust.
Get a new line, man. I've heard that so many times. Like,
take down Nazis, apparently, which I guess you're defending Nazis just straight up there. Whatever. He then also said, our next quote is, Beyonce's music has a satanic message. So he doesn't like Queen Bey. Again, easy reason not to vote for him, Carolina. Robinson, who believes in the music.
You know.
Yeah, we're getting into at least the crazy shit. Well, we got, we got two palate cleansers before we move on to the worst shit for y'all. That's why I arranged it this way. So for our palate cleansers of crazy shit, he said, Beyonce's music has a satanic message. Robinson, who believes the music industry is being run by Satan and the Illuminati, of course, just should be a governor, has also called renowned pop star Beyonce satanic, writing in another Facebook post, Facebook is just the worst, that her songs sound like they say stuff like, Satan laughs as you rot in hell if you play them backwards. He also called her husband, rapper Jay-Z, demonic.
Oh, we're doing the playing songs backwards thing again?
Backwards song shit.
Oh my God. That was so funny. God, they're like, that never happened for one, other than the Beatles admitting that Paul is dead. No, I'm kidding. That was so stupid. There was a stupid, very funny line out of all the things I'm quoting is Little Nicky with Adam Sandler, where he puts a record on and they're like, yeah, no, none of those records actually work when you play them backwards. Like, oh, yes, they do. And he pulls out Chicago and plays it backwards. Like, that's not going to do anything. And he plays it backwards and it goes, I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent. Like, oh my God. Like, but again, it's not real.
Every single Gen Alpha listener we just had left and unsubscribed at the mention of Adam Sandler.
Spaceman out now on Netflix.
Give us money, Netflix.
Yes, give us money, Netflix.
Okay, so for our second palate cleanser before we move on to just the main course of hate, he wouldn't be surprised if the moon landing or 9/11 was fake.
Okay, sure.
Robinson said he wouldn't be surprised if the 1969 moon landing was fake or if the 9/11 terrorist attacks were an inside job, he said in another Facebook post.
So, yeah.
I'm going to take this bad one, and then you can take the next bad one, and then I'll take the mustache man, and then you can take the last one.
Deal. I don't know what the last one is. I'm going to go into that one blind. Good grief.
I saved the best for you.
Sure.
He said in another Facebook post, this quote is about Black Democrats being slaves. Robinson said that Black people who vote Democrats are slaves being controlled by the Democratic National Committee. Quote, half of Black Democrats don't realize they are slaves and don't know who their masters are. Quote, he wrote, quote, the other half don't care. Quote.
Oh my God.
So,
wow.
Cool.
Wow.
Cool.
All right.
Klan rhetoric right there.
Man, he really is. He's really doing the Klan thing. It's so weird. Like,
it's literally the Chappelle sketch.
It is the Chappelle sketch. The very first Chappelle sketch, of his show was the black blind white supremacist, and this is he's oh fuck, I forget
at least
the
that guy
character's
was blind.
At least that guy was blind. Like, he's like, yeah, we don't tell him he's black because if he did, he'd probably kill himself. Is the quote in the episode. Like, oh man,
I mean, Chappelle used to be a good comedian. That's true.
He used to, yeah,
he used
man,
to be one of the best.
Really,
he used to be one of the best, but he's just gotten old and he's out of touch.
Old curmudgeon and started hating trans people. Okay, here's the next one. Homosexuality will lead to society's collapse. Marjorie Taylor Greene says this same shit.
This is like 07 rhetoric, though.
God,
shit.
Yeah, seriously.
Once again,
oh my God. And yet another Facebook post. You know what? I wish Elon had bought Facebook and just deleted it. Whatever. And yet another Facebook post. Robinson likened LGBTQ plus rights to pedophilia and said that people being gay.
So consenting adults versus a child. Those are different.
Again, dude, get new material. This is old this is old style conservatism that doesn't even fucking apply to your party anymore. Like, this is like, even if you are trying to dog whistle, it's not working. This is the dumbest shit. So that being gay is leading to the collapse of society. Although Marjorie also said the same thing. And she's just as crazy and stupid as this man. We have pushed, quote, we have pushed homosexuality over the top. Mark my words, pedophilia is next. Which
the only people calling for legalization of being able to marry children are libertarians,
which are
far-right fascists, and Destiny.
Goddamn.
Like the one liberal centrist pundit. Like those are the only people who've ever debated in favor of allowing children to have sex with adults.
Yeah.
So it ain't the left
No.
who's arguing for.
No, it's the right, and
so
they're
gross.
saying that anything that like that will
They want
end
child
civilization.
brides.
So they want
They
child
want
brides. Like, what's the is it Sam Cedar? Who's the quote? You said that when you describe a libertarian, they want to defend their child brides with their guns or something like that. Is that was it?
Yeah,
the
they
quote?
want to smoke their pot with their child brides using their AR-15s to defend it. Yeah.
That's a quote and funny. Yeah. So the gays are going to end civilization apparently.
Too, but
Mustache
yeah.
man.
So next quote is about Mustache Man. It's time to start reading quotes from Mustache Man as well as old Joey Stalin.
As what, like to avoid them in the future? Is that what he's going for? I hope so. I'm gonna guess not.
Yeah, I put it on the list for that reason. Robinson told an audience gathered at Moms for Liberty's Blessings of the Liberty Breakfast in July last year that instead of criticizing the conservative group for quoting Mustache Man in their June newsletter, it's time to start reading quotes from the fascist strongmen like Mustache Man. They say and Stalin here.
And
I do not think that Stalin was a fascist strongman. He was a strongman.
He wasn't good. He was bad. But
he was a dictatorial, murderous strongman.
Surprised he wants anything to do with Stalin. He was a communist. What is this Republican? He is not lining up and making any sense.
Well, he doesn't know anything.
I know.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
Whether you're talking about Mustache Man, this is quote. Whether you're talking about Mustache Man, whether you're talking about Chairman Mao, whether you're talking about Stalin, whether you're talking about Pol Pot, whether you're talking about Castro in Cuba, whether you're talking about a dozen other despots around the globe, it's time for us to get back and start reading some of those quotes.
Okay, stop reading the communist quotes. Well, maybe it might help you out, but yeah, dude, but what? My God, like, why?
I mean, you should not be reading Pol Pot or Mustache Man's quotes.
No, you should
They
not.
don't have anything to contribute to political philosophy. They're genocidal murderers. And just that. They didn't even industrialize a nation like Mao and Stalin. They didn't even do anything. They just killed a bunch of people.
Good grief. All right, here's mine. Or
yeah,
you still got more on
this off.
Absolutely craziest thing. God damn. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to let you lead off to this type of man that after he said all these things and he was confronted by the media recently, what did he say?
All right, going into this blind. But the craziest of all, Robinson stands by everything he said. The Republican defended all of his Facebook posts in 2020 in a 2020 interview with the local outlet WRAL, stating, "I don't back up from them a bit." More recently, Robinson has attempted to distance himself from anti-Semitism, claiming support for Israel despite all of his comments denigrating the Jewish people. He said during an October press conference that there have been some Facebook posts that were poorly worded on my part, but that there is no anti-Semitism standing here in front of you.
I've just said a lot of anti-Semitic shit and say that we should start quoting Mustache Man.
Okay.
But also, I want to point out that support for Israel does not equate to not being an anti-Semite.
Yeah.
There are quite a few anti-Semites who support Israel because they believe that the Jews need to rebuild the Temple on the Mount and cause the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's
and they believe those same Jews are going to go to hell because they're Jews and not evangelical Christians of their specific denomination. So let's say Israel is a government. It is not the Jewish people. Not all Jewish people are Israeli. Not all Israelis are Jews. It does not equate. So saying I support Israel and that makes all my horribly anti-Semitic statements wash and dry is anti-Semitic in itself, because you are equating a nation to a people, to an ethnicity, to a religion.
That's not the case, guys. But okay. So I guess he's not anti-Semitic. Solved. Okay. So I guess everything we just said, forget it. Yeah, it was wrong. But no.
Well, there is some good news to end us off besides all the just deplorable, disgusting, truly dogmatic shit we just read.
Horrible stuff. And I will tell you, I'm going to put a disclaimer at the head of this episode.
Oh, this one needs a trigger warning. Yeah.
This is definitely going to have
for homophobia, like fascist quotes,
everything.
We'll have multiple.
All of the bad is in this. So
yeah, that can be the end. Just really a lot of the bad stuff.
He's got an opponent though.
SA. We got to make a trigger for that too at the start of it. Okay. His opponent, however, the Democrat that won the primary for the Democratic primary for governor of North Carolina is Josh Stein. He's the former Attorney General of North Carolina. He's an Ivy League educated Democrat whose father was a famed civil rights attorney who leaned into liberal causes. So, I mean, I don't know enough about him to say whether or not this is a good person or whether or
Did
not
he
they're an
quote
effective politician.
mustache man or say women couldn't
He did
vote?
not. That was my point. Is
Cool.
he's not actively quoting mustache man. So I'm gonna suggest you vote for him if you're in North Carolina. He served under the current incumbent Democratic governor, Roy Cooper. Roy Cooper cannot run. There's term limits in North Carolina for governor. Cooper was AG at the time. He also served as the head of, when Cooper was AG, excuse me, the current governor was AG before he got elected governor. Stein, the guy who's running for governor now, was actually served as the head of the Consumer Protection Division for North Carolina. So he did essentially what Elizabeth Warren had the federal government start doing and like protecting people from scams and like investigating that throughout the state. He later succeeded him as Attorney General after Cooper was elected governor in 2016. Stein has made his views clear on abortion following the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Stein said that last summer, decisions about reproductive care are deeply personal and they should only involve a woman, her loved one, and her doctor.
Yeah.
Stein has raised more than $6 million in the last 6 months, according to a campaign release, and had more than $4 million on cash at last count a few months ago. So he has earned endorsements from more than 150 elected officials around the state. And to look back at what North Carolina is, because it definitely is a swing state, both at the state level and for the presidential election. In 2020, the Democrat Roy Cooper beat the Republican nominee Dan Frost by 248,185 votes. That doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, that does seem like a lot, like when you say that number, but that's not a lot.
That's not a lot.
One out of every, essentially 10 of those people one out of every 20 of the total people who voted. A little less than that not showing up changes that election. So this is going to be a close one. And this is going to be something that people in North Carolina are going to have to fight for. And I think to kind of wrap it up, like, I want to say that Robinson is the typical MAGA Republican. Like, we just read some horrible shit to you that he has said out loud and stands by, apparently. Yeah. But he is the typical MAGA Republican. He is the standard bearer for this party in a lot of ways. He is typical. And because he represents a lot of the base and what they want, unfortunately. This authoritarian, fascistic ethno-state, religious theocratic ethno-state that a lot of this base wants. And they're electing time and time again these days to their own detriment, to the country's detriment. And he seeks to divide us on race, ethnicity, religion, sexual orientation, gender, and that will tear apart the very fabric of society if we start giving in to that type of rhetoric and truly becoming that fascistic. It won't be, us arguing about, well, you call too many people fascist, or I don't think that's what fascism is. Like, dividing the people up in groups like that is textbook fascism. By standing against fascism, we uphold the principles of liberty and justice for all. Principles that I don't think have ever really been equally distributed throughout this country, we ever lived up to in actuality, but principles that I think all of us want to believe in and want this country to be. And fascism is the antithesis of liberty and justice for all. We must safeguard these rights and dignity of every individual, and ensuring the voices of marginalized people is how we do that. If one of us is not free, none of us are free. That is the mentality that we must have, whether it is international, national, or at your local level. If one person has no home, then at any point, one of us could, with one bad month, wind up without a home, wind up without a life like that, wind up without security. If one person doesn't have health care, any of us could wind up that way. If one person doesn't have access to education, this is the mentality we need to have. Robinson represents the opposite of that. Now, to combat fascism, I think, is something that is cyclical. At least authoritarianism and totalitarianism is. But at least in the last 100 years, it seems like fascism, a very select form of authoritarianism, specifically, is as well. It was the Soviets, America, France, the UK, and most of the rest of the world that fought against fascism when it came around and cropped its ugly head up to actual positions of power last time. There were partisans even inside occupied France, inside Spain under the entire time, inside Italy under Mussolini, that fought back, that were Italians and Germans and Spaniards that were fighting for a better world, even though their own government had been taken over. And that's what we're going to have to do whether or not we win this November. This is not going to be, we vote on Tuesday in November, the first Tuesday in November, and all these problems are solved. That's never going to happen with a single election. It's just not. But this right here, Robinson, he represents an existential threat. It is not just about parties or petty little disagreements over how we should run our government. People like this are the people that lead to genocide, to death, to destruction. They are a cancer upon their own nations, and they must be cut out at the root. Yeah. And the way you do that, at least this time, is through the ballot box before we have to do it through another means, because we don't have any other option because we don't live in a democratic republic anymore. And I'm worried that we are in the beginning stages of seeing that. And Trump is just the first, and Robinson is just another version of it. And eventually there will be someone who is competent, who is quieter about this stuff, but feels the exact same way. And I know I'll keep fighting no matter what, but it scares me. Yeah. And one of the reasons we do this podcast. So
yeah, it's a scary thing. And now I will say on a hopeful note that the same kind of situation, a guy who was not as outwardly, well, I'd say almost as outwardly crazy. I believe his last name was Mangiano or something like that. He ran for governor in Pennsylvania against Josh Shapiro and only got 30% of the vote. He crashed and burned. He was bad. And this guy might crash and burn. But he was already elected. So that's the scary part. And Mangiano, is that, what was his name? It doesn't matter. He's an old Nazi. His name doesn't matter. This man and that man only lost because people voted. So go vote, go register to vote,
voting doesn't solve everything.
It doesn't solve everything.
It's just part of what you have to do.
It's part of it. Go vote for what I'm saying. Go vote for this man to not be your governor, North Carolina, and then do plenty of other things. There are so many other things you need to do, but voting is the bare minimum.
And if you live in North Carolina, I'm not even joking. Download this episode and put it on 3 times speed anytime someone starts talking to you about this person being viable, and just play them back the horrible words that had to come out of our mouths. Yeah. And it's not like I'm exactly a good boy who doesn't ever say dirty, nasty things. Yeah. Like the things that made me squirm and butterflies in my stomach start to come up and make me feel gross to even repeat.
Bats more than butterflies.
Show those quotes to your friends who are like, maybe I will vote for this guy.
Yeah.
Because this is a sign of what's to come.
Yeah. And
if this keeps happening, I'm not sure we'll have a chance to stop it at the ballot box in the future.
Yeah, I don't either. So hopefully you go clean yourself up after shitting your pants, everybody, or your shirt, because you might have thrown up through all of that
2025 episode.
Oh yeah. That's over
another
American Conversation. That's a shit your pants episode as well. So but for now, they are not sending their best with Mark Robinson. They're sending their literal worst person possible. I mean, my God, I'm still through it. This episode truly shocked me.
He's up there.
He's up there. This episode shocked me. Like the finding out that a sitting lieutenant governor has, like, I'm sure plenty of people believe this.
I mean,
but a sitting governor saying these things out loud, not to mention, we didn't even get to the quote about how he doesn't think women should be able to vote. We should go back to the time of the 1950s when women couldn't vote. And like his audio of his rant about hating women. I'm not cutting that in. I'm not giving him, I don't want his voice on my platform. But
no, I didn't want to clip him. I would rather read that shit out. I didn't want to spread it.
Absolutely
and I will say, like, I didn't know who he was 2 weeks ago.
Dude, neither did I. Oh my God.
I'm sure a lot of liberals and leftists, activists in North Carolina definitely knew who he was and around the region. When I saw these quotes in another news program, the first time I saw these quotes, Internet Today, check them out on YouTube. Great. The boys are great. They're a good duo. They're funny. They do the news. They do it every 3 days on camera. They're great. They give you a leftist perspective with most things, but from the everyman, it's a good show. When I heard these quotes, I had to pause my YouTube, like the playback from the video, and like
to fact check. You're like, surely,
like stop and be like, really?
Surely this is not true.
Like, I'm being pranked by Tim, right? Like, he edited together a fake YouTube video or something.
Check out this guy.
Got these two to cameo. Like the things that he said were so blatantly racist, homophobic, and evil that I was like, I literally messaged you like, we have to do an episode on
that. Yeah. That was like I couldn't. I was like, dude, yes, because I was like, wait, how did we? He popped up like a George Santos. Like, how did we miss this guy? Where did the fuck this guy come from? He's here now, for better. Well, not for better. Definitely not for better. For worse.
For worse.
100, way for worse. But you know, God, keep looking these people up. That's all we have to say. We could keep going around in circles here, but this man's a bad man. Next episode. Oh God, who are we gonna do next time? Oh wait, I had someone. Because I was so focused on this, I forgot. We
gotta find out that VP shortlist from Trump.
We will. So you know what? Next episode is a surprise. We could do Katie Britt, because that would be kind of funny. But she's so far removed at this point. She's far irrelevant even from this point. This is coming out in April, basically.
Irrelevant at this point. Yeah,
I don't even know
before we recorded a week
coming out.
I
SNL's already taken her to task.
We'll see what happens over the next week or two. There definitely could be other candidates, but I think that maybe we should do whether or not sending their best possible VP noms.
Yeah, you know what?
Trump.
Fine. Let's do that. So, okay, not a surprise. The next episode is all the various possible VP noms. I would put Carrie Lake on there, but she is running for Senate. I really don't think they're going to nominate her.
Their best.
They're not VPing. Oh my God, man, you really are good with names. All right, they're not VPing their best next time on They're Not Sending Their Best. Subscribe everywhere. Goodbye.
Bye. Don't be a fascist.
Basics. Just do the baseline. Thanks.
Basics. He's a human being.
They're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
You've been listening to They're Not Sending Their Best with hosts Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi. Any news sources mentioned in this episode are listed in the show notes. The theme song for They're Not Sending Their Best is Circus by Music for Videos and was procured through Pixabay before the final version was cobbled together by Timmy Two-Step using the terrible words of Donald J. Trump. They're Not Sending Their Best is mixed and edited by Tim Philippi at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. The show was created by Andrew Turner and Tim Philippi and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com and americathepodcast.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.